admin.teams.microsoft.com. This has been the admin center that we've been on in the last few days, and that is the Teams admin center, where we would be looking at what to set as it has to do with Microsoft Teams, right? And in our first conversation, we have dealt with a lot regarding Microsoft Teams, the dashboard, the Teams Premium, the when we are in Teams, right? We are in Teams. We dealt a bit with managing Teams, right? We've dealt a bit with managing Microsoft Teams or managing Teams. And then we also came down to Teams settings. And then we as well dealt with Teams policy. And the same thing with this, which is the Teams template policy. And then Teams update policies. And then we spoke about Teams upgrade policy or upgrade settings. So we can say that we have dealt with everything within Teams. And today we are going to be focusing on users, and we really look at what is here. So the same thing, if I come here to admin.microsoft.com, right? Okay, which is even open already. Let me just close out all these too. So if I come here, you will see that I have users here, right? Active users and all of that. Contact, guest, and this. But if I come here, I also have users, but it is manage users, guest access, external access, B2B member access. I want to believe that B2B member access is something new, right? Not that B2B access is new, but I'm saying that in the Teams Admin Center, this is pretty new because I've not seen this here before. In short, I'm even curious of what is inside there, which we are going to look at, okay? So when we come to manage users, of course, it's not the same thing as this, even though active users in the M35 admin center is going to give you a list of the users. Then manage user here in Teams is also going to give you the list of the users in Teams, right? So I just want to be giving you like the similarities between the M35 admin center as well as the Teams admin center, right? While if you click on, let's say, no, let me not do that. Let me just go to an internal user. Let's say I come to Chidima Ojuku and then open Chidima Ojuku. What I will see in the M35 admin center is the user interface where I can go to devices. So devices speaks to which devices Chidima Ojuku are signed into. Then the license is talking about license. Mail is talking about what is currently available in the user's mailbox and stuff like that. Then we'll have OneDrive, which is like the content of the OneDrive of the user, right? But if you come here, it's a different thing. If you come to open Chidima Ojuku, you would find out that we'll have different experience, right? So up here, just the same way you had Chidima Ojuku's accounts, and there you see all these username, aliases, the team set up all these details, right? So if you come to this place, the same thing too, you will see Chidima Ojuku, and you can see start a chat, send email, and all of these details, right? And then you can see that the 7-day quality, there's no data available because this user does not even sign in. I think where it is better for us to use is to maybe bring up Benga's account. I know that he's into some activities himself. So from here, we can see his license page. We can see his devices that he has probably signed into Benga's Cloud PC, and devices enrolled to Intune are listed below. So you can see that Benga is signing in from devices, and the compliance state is is using a HP Pro 440G3, and the operating system is 10.0.26.this. Then the last check-in, so the last time Benga checked in was yesterday, when he signed in like afresh into this device. Again, he did a fresh signing yesterday at 10:25 p.m. and then the device was registered again to Intune about 2 days ago. That is 4:07 p.m. So these are the details that you can have here regarding this user, right? And then the license and app, then the mail and all of that. But if you come to this place, it's going to be a different experience. So from the Teams Admin Center, really, what you can see is first of all the accounts. So under accounts, you will see the coexistence mode. You see the coexistence mode, and then you see that the next thing to read is Teams. So from Teams, you have voicemail. From voicemail, you have meetings and calls. After meetings and calls, you have apps. From apps, you have Teams devices, you have policies, you have usage. And we are really going to be looking at all of these. So instances where this guy has a phone number assigned to him, he will have the phone number here, right, displaying up here for him. And then you can, from here, you can just click to send email to Chidima here, right? The directory status of this guy is online. Then what's the role of Chidima Ojuku? Is a team manager. You can really gather those information from here. And then also you can look at this. So if you click on this now, you're going to send a mail, and this phone number is different from Teams phone number. So these phone numbers you are seeing here are the users local or PSTN numbers that are assigned to them. And then from here also, you can see that if somebody is managing Chidima Ojuku, it shows that Chidima Ojuku is reporting to Joseph Afeso. So if you click on show organization also, you will see like more detail about Chidima Ojuku, right? So you can really see like a lot with him, to see like the whole organization, to see how Chidima Ojuku's line is flowing. So what it means is that Chidima Ojuku is reporting to Joseph, and Joseph is reporting to Benga. So in this case, Benga is our manager, he's my own manager, and Chidima is under me. So that's how it flows. So if, for example, Chidima has more people also, you really see that people can be under Chidima in one way or the other. So from the Teams Admin Center, you can also see those details, right? So you can see from here where it is saying send email, you can see here that it's saying send a chat. So if I click here, for example, what it's going to do is it's going to load the Teams user interface for me to send Chidima a chat, right? Send email is going to just open Outlook for me. Then copy ID is copy ID. What's the usage location of Chidima? Usage location of Chidima is Germany, and that's why you are seeing that Germany there, right? So also sound. Okay, so I was just trying to respond to the chat. All right, so looking at this, you can see that you have more details about this: fix meeting issues for users, investigate and fix call quality issues. So let's take instances where this user is is having issues with an ongoing meeting, just like we're having a meeting now. If I'm having like a problem with my call quality and I report that, you can really come back to say, okay, you want to view the active meeting. That is the meeting that Chidima Ojuku is currently having at the moment. You have that meeting showing up here, and you can really troubleshoot that issue, right? And just see, immediately you do this, you see me here, right? So one thing I can do is to use Benga again, because Benga is currently in a meeting. Let's see what's going to happen. So I'll come to manage user so that you can know how it truly is if you are working as an administrator or if you are working as a support and somebody reported an issue to you, you can ask them to go on an existing meeting, and then you can say, okay, you want to start. The person tells you that whenever he's in a meeting, he does not do this or this does not do. Tell the person, please, can you hop on another meeting, a test meeting with your colleague, and let us troubleshoot the ongoing meeting and then see what is happening. You can see that this is Benga. Also, you can see all these details that we've shown for Chidima Ojuku. So for 7 days ago, since 7 days ago, he has like there are some instances where his call quality was a bit poor, right? But he has like a very good number of times where he has a very good calling quality. So this is like maybe like 25% of all the time. Now, 7 days ago, the user had attended 4 meetings, right? And then he has not made any one-on-one PSTN, SIP call to say, okay, like Benga calling me, or I call it Benga, or calling Solomon, or somebody calling somebody. The call did not exist, but we had instances where meetings were held and Benga attended like 4 in the last 7 days, right? So now, if since he's currently in a meeting and I know, right, you can see that there is a dot there showing that there is an ongoing meeting, and it's saying that you can now troubleshoot meeting instantly. You can now monitor meeting quality instantly, right? Or I will read right for what we have. It says you can now troubleshoot meetings instantly by monitoring meeting quality metrics available here. But then if you don't want to come here, you can come to view active meetings, right? So if you click on view active meeting, you can see that Benga is in a meeting, right? And it's showing that for the past days, you see those 4 calls that were said. So the call that he had, where he had 19 people, where there were multiple clients, he had poor quality. That's the one that you had that is showing poor in the call that you see there, right? So I don't want to go into this yet, but I just want you to see this that says meeting in progress, right? So meeting in progress, and then what is happening? It has 5 participants. So who are those participants? So if I check this now, you will really see that it is we, and this call now is talking about the call that we're currently having. And if you look at the meeting, you see that there is Mary Sani, there is Joseph Afeso, there is Pillars Cloud Technology, there is Benga, and there's one guy that is not showing his detail unavailable. This likely Gaius, right? Because he's joining in this meeting as anonymous, right? So he's joining in as anonymous. He's not signed in, so his account is not identified. And that's why you are saying that he's showing unavailable for participant name. Then this person here is Solomon Boro, and all of them are here on this call. So if you look at it, you can also scroll down to this other place to see how these people are joining this call. So you would see that who has one issue. Mary Sani, at one point, she had an issue here, right? So she had an audio issue. Then, but the other people so far have not got issues. But if we investigate the other call that we had that we dropped, right, we really see that I will have an issue because of that my network that dropped me off. So, but if I check to come to this place now, what I'm saying is that the details you are seeing now is as a result of the meeting that is going on at the moment. Then Teams app CPU usage. So CPU usage is talking about consumption. I'm thinking that myself and this person, who is this person? Myself and probably Benga are joining this call with laptop, right? Others are likely joining with their mobile phone. That's why you are seeing that one, you can see that wide area network. Mine is excellent. So this one is not recorded. But hold on, somebody is joining with iPhone here. So Redmi, this person is joining with Redmi. Um, Mary Sani is joining with Redmi Note 7. So Gbenga is joining with iPhone 11. So not mobile, not laptop. Then who else? So I'm wondering why it's not capturing the devices others are using. But this is where you can really get those detail around the ongoing call. Then you can see the CPU usage of me. Mine is Teams audio is currently outbound. Packet loss is 0. Oh, so do you know what is here? Packet loss. We'll look at this later. So see, inbound packet loss is how good my network is. So if the whole of the sound I'm producing is getting to you completely without any bit of issue, then you will see that it is delivering the whole packet to all of you. Then it will be at 0. So if I'm losing packets, that means that my audio is not like excellent. I will see that I have some percentage, but there are some tolerable percentages here that you will not be able to notice. But when it gets worse, I think it is when it gets, I will show you like the value, right? You really see the required value to say no. This call, you can be having my voice breaking there. Then there is, so I don't want to talk about this average round trip time for now. Then call drop reason. So if the call is dropping, right, it will be, so this person, I don't know who this person, unfortunately, if I'm scrolling it's but the second person on this list, the second person on the list, let me check who that person is. That should be me, right? Maybe it was that time I dropped my call. I'm thinking it's capturing that within this call. So as at the time I dropped my call, it was saying something here that there was a media error for this person. The user ended the call. At that point where I had issues and I dropped my call. Then can you also see battery level? Mercy's battery is going low. I mean, Mary's battery is at 34%, right? While Benga's battery is 75%. Please drop on the chart if this statistics is correct so that we can use it to confirm that what Teams is saying is nearly accurate. Mary's battery is at 33% at the moment, while Benga's battery is at 75%. I'm really curious to know if this statistics is correct from Teams end, if it can be smart enough to target the battery capacity. Wow. So the update from Benga is that it is very, very correct. So I would like to hear from Mary as well. If Mary can tell me the battery capacity at this. The reason why these details are needed is that so that you can, if you are telling me that there is an issue, right? If the call drops and then I come here or during that call, tell me that your call dropped, I can tell you that, hey, it is because you ended the call yourself, right? You are the one that dropped the call. And then if it is media error, I can also come back to say, it's media error, right? So the Teams app CPU usage. So this is how much of my CPU. Okay, so Mary said it's accurate too. So that means battery capacity during call is, you can see that this application is, you just need to explore, right? You don't at one point just feel that you know everything. This is like an ongoing call, and this is the call that we are currently on. And it is tracking all of these details to show us that yes, this is what is actually happening. So if I go to my what is it called, task manager now, and I check my CPU usage, I will really see that Teams application is consuming this number of percentage that it is saying that it's consuming. So these details are very, very correct. So now let's look further to see what is there. Let's say, for example, I'm having this person, Mary. They say here potential meeting issues, one issue. Let's see what that issue is. I can click on Mary, right? So how we do it is I'll just come back here, click on the timestamp of Mary, right? And then I'll come into this current Mary's ongoing meeting, right? I'll come in here. So it's showing that the meeting is in progress. Then the meeting started off at 3:57 p.m., right? And then the duration so far is 1 hour, 2 minutes for that meeting. So now looking at it, right, I will look at this. So Mary at this point is in, I'm interested in looking at Mary. Let's say Mary is the one that reported the issue. You can see how our rise and fall is doing in our network, right? But we'll come down to this. So now looking at this, Mary's meeting ID is this, and she's using system she's using what's it called, Android 10, right? The Teams client's device is mobile, right? Then participant details. So she's joined in here. The leave time yet is not known. Then what time did she join? She joined this meeting by 4:39, right? And then while the meeting started at this time, duration is this, and then you can come down to look at audio network detail inbound. So how well can she hear me? So this is like audio detail sound, and then it's showing like the detail of the jitter. The jitter is 353 ms milliseconds, right? While the packet loss is 0%, and then the local held ratio is 0.82, which we'll be looking at, right, as we move along. So if you see now, there are changes in this data because at the moment, you will discover that it is not going to be constant. It's an ongoing call. So audio outbound, you can really see how the audio outbound looks. And then, so for you who want to dive into telecommunications, so these are areas that you really want to look at, right? You actually look at the round trip time, you at the bit rate, and then the frame rates, right? You can see how things are changing. Then you look at all these details. Then video stream experience detail in terms of outbound. Then the application sharing, VBS network details. So this is what you can look at in that regard. So application sharing, VBS detail outbound. So this was for the inbound, and then this for the outbound, and then application Ds. Then you can also check like further the CPU and battery detail. So you can just see how our battery is also behaving at any instant in time. So you can also come in here to just check further of what's happening. So at the moment she's muted. So I'm going to see that the our call here is muted. That's for the user signal, right? Then the jitter is the current jitter of this call is 285, right? While the packet loss is 0.04 ms, and it just go back to this. So our network become a bit better at this minute, and then the call becomes good. I mean, the packet loss becomes 00, but the jitter, you can see that is dropping and rising. So what I want to do is I will take a screenshot of this part of the call, the jitter, the packet loss, and the round trip time, right? Because we're going to be using this detail to evaluate the standards very soon. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of that and drop that on the chat, just so when we are evaluating what jitter means and what packet loss actually means, we would know what that is talking about. So now I've dropped that for Mary. So average local bitrate bandwidth. So those details, you can check the ones that are available. System CPU usage is 0% because, yeah, that's even a mobile phone. Teams app CPU usage for on our phone, the app that she's using there is consuming 6.02%, and her battery has further dropped down to 31% as we speak. So this is like the details that you find. So I think I'm seeing download here, no response, right? Okay. So there's no way I could download that. I would have appreciated if I could, so that just in case you want to share this detail with someone, you can just quickly share them with somebody. So that is for ongoing meeting. Remember that because Benga was in the same call with Mary, that was why I could troubleshoot Mary's issue by coming through Benga's account. So I remember that Mary is joining this call as an external user, right? Because she's not using MVP benefit accounts, right? So if I come to Benga, so what people actually make mistake of is when they want to go to that detail, it is usually confusing to me until I had to use this. So when you want to see those details, I'll take you back a bit so that you can see how it works. I come back to user profile. Of course, from manage user, I came down to Benga. So let me just do a refresh. I don't know why that is failing. So manage users, right? And then I'm coming to Benga. I just hope I'll just be able to scroll down to see Benga here. All right, so let me see Benga here, right? So I'm coming down to Benga here. And then the next thing I want to do is just to go into that account and check the call details. Why is it lagging? So maybe I'll do a refresh. Okay, so I'm inside of Benga's account. So what I would do is, if there's an ongoing call, right, I can click on view active meeting, right? And then the next thing is I will pick the meeting that is ongoing, which is this one. So what I will do, I will click on the 4 participants, right? So if I click on 4 participants, and then I will come here to his own account and click on the timestamp here. So if I click on the timestamp, I'll be able to see the details of the ongoing meetings here. So if I come to the details of the ongoing meetings, I'll be able to review just what I did for Mary here in this account. So there's really nothing that is going on in a call that you cannot look at, right? So we'll come back to user profile. So looking at user profile, right? So what did we just look at? We looked at fix issue for user, right? Investigate and fix call quality issue for meeting in progress. So meeting in progress is going to be up here, while past meetings are going to be down below, just so you know. Because if you come to, there was an issue I resolved one day, and whenever I talk about this, I will always talk, I will always explain this to people. So for example, um, if I come to who will I just, so Paul is not on this call, good. So I'll use Paul as an example. Paul now. So if I click on Paul this way, you will really find out that if I come to view active meetings, right, it's not going to have any detail because it does not have any call ongoing. So the same thing too, if I come to meetings and calls and I scroll down, I will not see, if I'm on a small screen itself, I will not even see this until I scroll down a bit. So the guy was looking for a past meeting. So if a meeting has passed, also you can investigate it, which we are going to get to. I just want to show you the ongoing meeting, right? So you have to scroll down. So if you scroll down, you will really see meetings that Paul has been a part of. So yesterday was the webinar. So Paul was there. That's why you are seeing these 19 participants in that meeting. And then you are seeing that it was, you have 2 participant meeting, 4, 6, 8, and you see that that is about the largest meeting that he had. And that was because of that webinar yesterday that lasted for 2 hours, 45 minutes, right? So, and that's about the longest call he has had, like in recent time. Except this one, which I don't know what he was doing for 3 hours, right? So, like, I can really go into, so he made a call to somebody, like a one-on-one call to somebody. I can investigate who he called. So that I don't think that when you're working in an organization, we cannot track what you do. We can track what you do really. So who did he call? He called Oimafu, right? He called Oimafu, and then that was a call that was made around 11:14 p.m., right? April 11. So if I'm investigating this guy and then he's denying, I can really come to even look at the system. Sometimes these details are not available, but that is on the rare cases, right? So I can really look at like the connectivity he used to join the call. I don't know why that is not tracking, but if I come here, right, I can really look at the details of that call he made. But this is not where I am at the moment. So I don't want us to get like a bit confused with whatever I'm trying to express. But what I'm trying to just say here is that for here that we are, to view ongoing meetings is only available if a user is currently in a meeting, right? So now coming to manage users, and I'll be using Benga's account just in case we need to talk about like current matters that are going on. So if I come back to Benga now, I will be landing. So I want to believe that we have been able to see what's everything that is up here. And now we are coming to this line. This line demands a lot of conversations and explanations from us. And I really encourage us to go and check it out because a lot of information is actually available here. Now, I think I like this option I see here, right? Because it was not available in the GUI. This is why coming to review is very important. To enable user for enterprise voice was only possible with PowerShell using set yes phone number assignments and then enterprise voice enabled to be true before a user can be enterprise voice enabled. And I'm thinking that this is very recent that we'll have enterprise voice enabled turning on here. So for you to I think I will not explain enterprise voice enabled so I don't get somebody confused. But when we get to voice, right, we'll definitely come back here to look at it. But just see that you can turn on enterprise voice enabled here. And then this is saying assign phone number. Because this guy does not have a Teams phone number, I will not see any phone number here. But though he has like telephone number field in his profile, but it is not the same thing as his Teams phone number. So when we get to voice, we can really get there. Wow, this is very beautiful. There are no primary phone number assigned. So these guys you're seeing here, we're not here, right? So that means that I can now just come here and click on assign and search for phone numbers within my organization calling plan. And wow, this is really good, right? I don't have phone number now. A calling plan number cannot be assigned to this user because they do not have calling plan license assigned to them. I know, right? So, but we'll talk about this later on, okay? Then there are no private phone numbers assigned, right? Assign primary phone number, assign private numbers. So these are the details you can find here. And then the Teams upgrade settings that this user has is on Teams only mode, right? That is a conference coexistence mode, right? So the guy is purely on Teams. That means he's not using Skype for Business, even though there is nothing like Skype for Business online for now or at the moment. That has been retired, right? But at least you can see that the coexistence mode of the user is Teams only. That means the user is a pure online user. Okay. So some of these settings for your organization have been set by Microsoft and can't be changed. Yeah, that is in terms of any other changes regarding any other coexistence mode, and it has to just be this. So choose your upgrade journey for Skype for Business to Teams. So this used to be active when there used to be Skype for Business online. Then you can choose the type of upgrade policy that you want, right? So I'm just trying to see if I will see um, though. Yeah, this used to be like the different coexistence mode that were available. You have Teams or Skype for Business, where the incoming call, and then you have in Teams only mode, you are going to be taking. So you have Teams experience, incoming chat and call received in. So if you are in islands mode, you are going to receive your call on Teams or Skype for Business. You can choose which. But if you are in Teams only mode, you're going to be on Teams. Then your PSTN calls, you're going to receive them on Skype. Then on this is this. Then your presence is Skype for Business. So this is not really important now for me to be explaining to us. But when there used to be types of coexistence mode, right? So you would have to set where you want to take your calls, where you want to have your meetings, where you want to take your PSTN calls, or what you want to display in terms of when you're available online and so on. But as of today, that's why you are seeing here that some of these settings for your organization have been set by Microsoft and can't be changed because all the other islands mode, meeting first, all of those other different ones are laid to rest, right? So just know that Teams upgrade settings here is in this. So these are the details of what you can find. Then the next one is Teams, right? For Teams, this is going to list the number of teams that you are in and what role you are in those teams. So Benga is in created from TSC with an owner. Benga is in Hakita Gen, then is in M365 support, is in project M365 org-wide, is also in project M365 private, is also in this. So these are the teams that he is, right, at a glance. So if you want to, if you as an admin want to remove him from a team, you can remove him from a team by coming into his account directly, or you can go to the team and remove him. You can see that the two ways that you can remove a user is how you can come to the teams and remove the user, and you can also come to the user's account under Teams and remove the user. You can also promote the user from being a member to an owner to a member, or from member to an owner, right from the person's account, and it will reflect on the teams that you are coming from. And I hope this is making sense to somebody, because I can come here and I say I want to make this guy an owner of this particular team. Remember, as an administrator, I don't even need to be a member of the team before I can confirm this, right? And I can decide to add this guy to more teams by just searching for the team by name here. I don't know if I have like a lot of teams that, yeah, I still have. So I can decide to add him to, he's already a member of this team. So if there are some teams that I have in my, I think I may have sales, right? Maybe. So, but if I have sales, if I have teams by their names, I can search for them. And then from here, I will add them to more teams, choose what role is supposed to be. So I think I may just do that. Let me just look for one team that I know that is not a member of here. Come to manage team, right? If I come to manage team, it's not in ABC of cloud onboarding, definitely, because I didn't see that there. So I could open ABC of cloud onboarding, and then oh, it's archived, right? So I want to come to an active team. Let me come to an active team. Okay, also time with Esther, right? So also time with Esther. If I know it's not here, right? So I could click this and then I will say add member, and then I will search for his account and add him. But I want to do it this one we are used to. I want to do it the other way around. So I'm coming to manage users, and then what am I doing? I'm going to look for Benga. So I can just come here and click on his account, and come to teams, right? And then I want to say add to more team, and then I will search for Ososo, and then that should come up. So Ososo time with Esther, I can click on this, right? So what role do I want him to be? Do I want him to be an owner or a member? So once I do that, I can click on apply, and that is going to be listed among the number of teams that Benga is member of, right? So you can see what is there. This is the description of the team. This group is only for social rehearsals, and then if I click on the team, right, I will see that I used to have Paul and Esther there, right? I'm wondering, okay, because I'm in Benga's side, right? I'm supposed to see Benga listed as member here now, or probably it's trying to, let me refresh and see. Yeah, sure. So I see Benga is now a member, is now an owner of the team, while Esther is a guest in that team. And because Esther is a guest, that what means is that is a Gmail user, not because it's a Gmail user, but she's an external user in the first place. She cannot be given a role. She's just going to be a guest member in that, but I can decide to move this guy to an owner or a member, as the case may be. So if I come back to this now, you'll find that coming back is going to take me to Teams, but remember that we are working under manage users, right? So if you look at that, really, I'm still going to be on Benga's accounts, just in case I need to reference some ongoing issues, right? So under Teams, I'm sure that all of us would understand everything that is under Teams, where I can manage this, I can decide. These are the classifications of the teams. And then if I come here now, I will see the group ID of those teams. So group ID is like they are unique. It's not even like they are unique identity for each team, right? So if I want detail about, if I want to add people to this team, I can use the parameter of the display name of the team. When I'm doing PowerShell, I can decide to use the parameter of the Teams ID to add people to it. Okay, so from Teams you have voice. So voice is very powerful, right? Voice is something that you need to be aware of. So outbound calling, dial out setting for calling. So we are saying that you can call any destination. Like if you want to call on Teams, at the moment, if he has somebody in the US, you can call. In the UK, you can call. In Ghana, you can call. In any country at all, you can decide to call any destination. So if I want to say that I don't want to allow this guy to make an outbound call, what it means is that he should only be able to call people within my organization, right? I can also say that he should just be able to call people. Assignment will take time to take effect, right? So your changes might take some time to take effect. So for this, I don't want to take it on Benga's account. I want to go and take it on a dummy user account, just in case he has somebody to call outside of the country. It does not have limitations. So I will use another person's account to do that. So I will just use our dummy user account so that we can make changes without it impacting on anybody. So I will use Chidima's account to do that. And I'm coming to voice. So if I come to voice, I want to say configure voice setting for this. So this person's details, sorry, where was I? Yes, I was not in voicemail. I was on calls. So why is this person's display different from Benga? Curious. So manage users. Um, so I see voice under Benga. Why can't I see voice under Chidima? That's possibly because of license. Comment. Manage users. So I want to look at Pillars Cloud Technology user because we don't make call without accounts. But I want to look at something really. Let me see. This is the account. Let's see. I see voice here, right? Then let's check Chidima. There's one thing that explains this, and I think it's not different from license. So if we check Chidima Ojuku, we don't see voice, right? So let's just come back to manage users. And then I'm looking at Christopher. Oh, so it's licensed, honestly. So I will just be forced to use Pillars Cloud Technologies Limited for that demo. Not because it's going to spoil anything, but just in case we want to rig something. I don't expect calls pulling out from, let's say for example, yeah, I don't expect calls going out from this account, right? What I would do is to come to voice, right? So if I come to voice, I will now say that dial out settings for calling. I will say I want to restrict these guys calling to particular organization, but I would expect it to show me in the same country, okay, region, or as you can see, in the same country or region as the organizer. So what it means is that this person can only call people in the same country, people who are in the same region, and as the organizer, or we can say don't allow. So what we have done now is this person cannot call out of the tenants. But if you want to call people within the organization, you can call them. But you can't call people from another organization. It will not go. So you have to be aware of this, just in case one overexcited administrator has come here to say, don't allow, or in certain countries, or in the same country or region as the organizer, right? As the organizer, right? Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like organization. I'll try to test this out myself because I've not seen this, to be very honest. So you can look at in the same country, but I want to still put it back at any destination, right? Or any any destination. Now that you need to take note of. Then call answering rule. Say configure the group call pickup, delegation, simultaneous ringing, and call forwarding setting for Pillars Cloud Technology Limited. This is the user account. Do you know what this is? If somebody is calling you, right, it should ring only you on the devices. So that it becomes clearer, I will come back to Benga's account again, because that one that is speaking like the name of the organization, somebody may be getting confused. So it should not be like a very nice explanation to what I'm trying to bring up. So if I come to voice, right, I will see what is called simultaneous ringing. So I want to say configure the group call pickup, delegation, simultaneous ringing, and call forwarding setting for Benga. If somebody is calling Benga, right, do I want it to ring him on his devices, or do I want the call to be forwarded? So let's say, for example, right, I want a call to ring Benga. I'll just put it here. Or do I want the call to be transferred to people, right? Or even as it's ringing Benga, do I also want it to ring another person simultaneously? I don't know how these are grayed out. I was supposed to be able to make this call ring, so that, for example, somebody is calling you, the call will be ringing you or be ringing another person in the organization. The whoever picks first will be the one to take the call. This happens if you are busy, then your sales rep will wait and see if the call ring like for 30 seconds to 40 seconds, then the person can pick up the call on your behalf and say, apologies, my manager is currently busy. Do you want to drop any message for him? Right? Or do you just say, no, I don't want that to happen. Just forward my calls to somebody in the organization. So I'm not sure why these are grayed out. I will also come back to another account. Apologies. We will just need to sort out all of this, why they are happening. So because I know that the experience I was having was a bit different. So I'll come here to PCT, right? And then I'll come back to voice, because I think that one settings seem to make better sense for me. Let me come back to voice, right? It's saying ring, okay, same thing too. So ring Pillars Cloud Technologies Limited in all devices, and then also allow the call to ring, okay, the same experience. So the point that we need to look out for is, why are all these features grayed out for us? We're supposed to be able to allow it simultaneously ring somebody else. And then if the call is unanswered, right? If the call is unanswered, what should it do? Should it send a voicemail, or do you want to forward the call to person in the organization, forward to external number? I think something is just wrong with these tenants, right? So just give me some time. Let me check if I'm going to have access to another tenant where we would use to check this out. Admin.teams.microsoft.com. I want to bring up this screen here, because this part I'm explaining is very important. Admin.teams.microsoft.com. And I'm wondering why it's trying to um, not make our efforts seen. Because you can really have your call ring more than one person in Teams, and then the person can pick up on your behalf. Or you can say that if the call ring you and you don't answer the call should ring another person within your organization. Though you can do that from the Teams client part also. So I want to go to manage users, and I'm just going to pick a user here. I'm just going to pick Boro Solomon. Why are you taking time, please? So for this, I'm even seeing voicemail only. I think there's just some behaviors that seem to be a bit different recently, right? Let me see. Let me see my accounts, because at least I know I use my account for a lot of things. Yeah, let me see. So some settings are not just in sync yet, except I'm the one that is not getting it, right? Some settings are not yet in sync. Because you can see that I can't see voice here. I can see Teams, I can see voicemail, meetings and calls. Of course, we could see that one there. So some settings are not yet in sync because I can say immediately forward my call to somebody within the organization, to call group just in case there is a call queue, to delegate to somebody I want to delegate to my call, to another phone number, which I can even put an external phone number and then forward to person in the organization. That should be able to work, right? But I think the only option that is working at this point is voicemail, right? So I can say that immediately when somebody is calling me, just send the call straight to voicemail, or it should ring me on my device. And then I should also allow, so simultaneously ring, delegation, and group pickup are only available with enterprise. Oh, I see. I see why. Can you see this? I needed license. Simultaneous ringing, delegation, and group call pickup are only available with enterprise-enabled users. I think I've satisfied my curiosity. So if I have calling plan license and phone system license, I already have phone system assigned to this guy. So probably that's why I can see calls or voice. And the reason why I could not see voice here is because for that user, I do not have what's it called, phone system license, which we are going to explain later. So this will not make sense to any of us now until we get to voice, right? So if we get to voice and this user has the calling feature, the calling plan and the phone system license assigned, then we can do, because I was wondering why that was not working, then we can really simultaneously ring people. But I'm happy for this information that we got here, that to send what's it called, that simultaneous ring is only available if the user is enterprise voice enabled. That is, if the user has the required license, the calling plan, and the phone system license. So, but unfortunately, we do not have that at the moment. So, if the call is unanswered, right, before you can send to voicemail, how many seconds do you want the call to ring? And the maximum time that you can allow that call to ring is 60 minutes. That means if the caller has rang you for 1 minute, then it should route to voicemail. But if you had the required license, you could forward the call to delegates, you could forward the call to call group or so. That is if you have the required license. Or you can say once the call rings for 40 seconds, then the call should just be routed to voicemail. I'm sure that we've been able to get something from here. And my confusion at one stage, we've been able to clear it out, right? That enterprise voice license is required for you to do that big man of the call is ringing me, it's also ringing my PA. And then if I don't pick in 40 seconds, my PA knows, so he can pick it up and so that, okay, our guy is busy. So, okay, so I think Solomon is asking for me to zoom in. Okay. All right, so that's what it is. I hope it's not going to be too big for me also to navigate. So that's how it works for you to see. And then for the next thing is voicemail. How do you want to configure your voicemail? So do you want the voicemail to even be on in the first place? You can turn it off, and then you can say, you see that says Mary Sani is currently not available. If you've called on Teams and they don't pick, please try again. I mean, drop a voice note or something after the pound key, right? You can decide to choose the language it should speak with. If you are probably in Thailand, you can decide to put it in Thai language, or Swedish language if you are in Sweden. You can decide to put it in Polish if you are in Poland. Then you can decide to put it in Hindu if you are in India. And then you can decide to put it in French, Canada French, right? Then, or France, right? And then if you have if you want to put it in United Kingdom English, or you want to put it in United States English, if you want to put it in Japanese language, we can also do it there. So please, minutes on the chat if you can hear some background noise from my environment. I'm really curious to know. So Turkish, then Vietnam, and all of that. So you can really set it in different languages. So and then the next thing, so voicemail. All right, before then, we can also talk about call answering mode, right? The call answering mode, caller can leave a voicemail. Caller can leave a voicemail if you want to leave a voicemail. Caller can leave a voicemail. You can say play an outgoing message to caller, then service decline the call without no message. Okay, so if you want to do this, you can really turn that on, and then again call transferring. You can transfer to user. I'm trying to see if this is going to work. Okay, so that means for voicemail I can decide to so this is whose account, this is PCT. So let's say I want to make that call to Benga. Let me see. Okay, so but what's the difference here now? So I can transfer this call to Benga if call transfer, if the call comes in, and then I want to say transfer the call to Benga from this point. Then default greeting prompts. If I want it that before you enter voicemail, I'm trying to really understand this call transfer, right? Because if that other call transfer did not work for us, then how is this going to work? Call transferring is off. You can transfer to user, you can transfer to phone number. Let me see if I can put 2347035060112. Okay, so what I will do, I would test this out myself. I'll try to call PCT on Teams, and I would ask that the delegate should not pick the call. And let me see if that call is going to ring my mobile. I'm really curious to know. But let's see what information is here. Say enter the PSTN number of the agent of the transfer target. Okay. Prompt language, of course, that is clear. Transfer to PSTN. Then default greeting message is saying that enter a greeting to play if the user normal custom greeting isn't set. So you can set a custom message when the person is calling. Then default greeting prompts, that is it. Then default out of office prompts. If the person is out of office, then how you want the how you want somebody is calling you and your status is set to out of office, right? How do you set status to out of office? Somebody may just be curious to know. You can do that from Outlook. You can also do that from Teams. So let's just do the one from Teams.microsoft.com. If that opens, I'm going to show you. So let me close this out. So from here, I can also come to say enter greeting message. Then I can put a prompt to say if I'm out of office, what the user is to hear is supposed to be a different message if I want to. Then play out of office greetings. So I can also turn this on. Then when sending automatic replies, you can decide to do this. So I want to really show you something about the Teams itself. So once you are good with this under voicemail, I really encourage you to check this out. I want to save it and see if it's going to save my phone number there. And I'll try to copy CT later and see if that call, an error, we can't change your voicemail setting right now. Try again. I'm thinking this is the reason because this user is not enterprise voice enabled. So how do you even want to route the call to a phone number in the first place? It's not supposed to work. Transfer to user. Let me check for this if I'm able to save because I was just a bit curious how that was going to work. Let me see if I can save. So the same experience we are having, and I'm thinking, no, I think that one they did not save. So the same thing, the same message that we got from here at the enterprise voice is also affecting us in terms of voicemail. So the default voicemail is what we are supposed to have, but this I'm still having Bengal stuck there, right? So we may just want to check further with voicemail and see how it is. But if you want to turn off voicemail entirely, you can turn it off, right? Then we've dealt a lot with meetings and calls already. So this is an ongoing call for PCT that has 5 participants, and we can really troubleshoot to see. And PCT was also on that same call that Paul was for 2 hours, 45 minutes, 33 seconds. And then we have apps. So if this user is making use of applications, then those apps will be listed here. Teams devices. Teams devices are like meeting room device. What's it called? Panel devices. So when we get here, when we get to devices, Teams devices, where is it? Um, yeah, this is it. So there's Teams Room on Android, Surface Hub, Legacy, there's panel, there's phones, there's display, there's SIP devices. So when we get there, we can really look at it. But what we are looking at here is the devices that the user is making use of. And one very important point is the policies. So policies tells you what policy is currently operating on the user in terms of all the policies that you have in the tenants. And from here, you can alter policies for users. So app setup policy, audio conferencing policy, call hold policy, call pack policy, and you can see that this user is all on org-wide policy. So you need to know what policy the user is, just in case the user is unable to share screen, the user is unable to record meetings, the user is unable to do X or Y or Z. You can check what is in the policy by coming to say, okay, if it is that, we want to check meeting policy of this user, right? You can come down here and check it and say, is it supposed to be able to make schedule private meetings? Is it turned on? Or is it turned off? It's supposed to be able to schedule private meetings. Meet now is supposed to have that ability. And then you want to come down to look at here, and you want to look at content sharing or meeting engagement, external meeting charts. We're actually going to get here, right? But if we are trying to just see, look at this now. If you want, if the user is complaining that you cannot share screen and you are checking this and you're seeing that is showing that not enabled was what was there. You can see that, oh, really, this is what is causing the user not to be able to share screen. Or if you just want him to be able to share single application, if you want to share entire screen, it's having an issue. Or if you want him to be able to share the entire screen, that's where you really see it. Participant can give or request control. You may want to turn that off. And then external participant can give or request control. This is turned off. And if this is the issue, you may want to turn it on. Then PowerPoint Live, whiteboard, if you want them to enable whiteboard, collaborative and annotations, right? Or live share. Then you have share notes. So these are some of those things. Then the recordings, are they able to record? Should they be able to record their meetings, right? So, and then require participant agreement before recording. So this feature is when this is on, participant must agree to record their transcribe, to be recorded and transcribed. So let's say this meeting that we are, if all of you don't give consent, I'm not able to record. I may just go and check that policy to see, and then store recording policy outside of the country region. Then transcription, if you want transcription enabled, or if you want it to be turned off, and then recording also. But basically, what we are saying is that we're not in policy yet, so but we're not going to be talking about that. So while a user is having an issue, maybe not able to record, not able to share screen, not able to do one or two things, you can really discover that by coming to the policy that speaks to that. Let's say the user is unable to call one-on-one call. You want to come here and see that make private call is turned off. Or you want to just either you want to turn it on for everybody, or you want to create a separate policy where that is turned on, and then you can assign it to the user, which we did slightly last week, but we're still going to be dwelling much on it again. So I'm going to close that out. And just to wrap up for today is the last point here, which is under usage. So if the usage is for reporting, so this will not really be like a very good example. So I will come back to Benga because I know that it uses Teams for some activities. So I'm just coming up to users and I'm coming to manage users here. And I'm going to Benga, for example. So if I come to usage, which is like the last point here, if I come to usage here, and I want to say like the last 7 days, how many call we're Benga making. So if I were using like a PSTN calling and I'm doing like communication credits, I'll be able to know how much Benga has spent in terms of communication credits. Then how much of call has it been this week, right? Like a one-on-one call that he has been in the past 7 days. How many call has he made out? So this is where you can also see. Unfortunately, all Benga is doing is on Teams as meetings, right? Last 30 days, let's see what that report is going to look like. And all countries, of course. This detail is not very nice, but let's see. Let's run and see if that's what I was supposed to do. So same okay. I think there's no difference in that. So it's not dialing out. That means it's not calling, call duration, then the cost of the call. So what we can say about this for the usage is just particular about, oh, I was supposed to see this audio conferencing. I was supposed to see this. So it's not about calling feature, right? So this usage here, I think is misleading a bit. It is about the audio conferencing attempts or the conferencing call that he has made, the call duration you have spent on audio conferencing, how many dial out he has done in terms of audio conferencing. And what is audio conferencing? Audio conferencing is like this meeting that we are in right now. You are joining this call from your Dotlight phone by just using the 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 call. If audio conferencing is set up, I think this is the meeting. So I think it's a recurring meeting, right? So there's a reason why I came here before. I wanted to set out of office, which I will still do. So if I come to this TMCC call, and then I think there is a place where I will scroll down here. I think there's a place I will scroll down here to see like more details about this meeting ID. Let's see, this meeting option. There should be some areas I will go to, or probably because I don't have audio conferencing license myself. I don't see the other option. So if I have audio conferencing option, I will see a phone number here listed that people can call if I've set up my audio conferencing and I have the license required. So that number, if you cannot join the call by calling in direct, by joining over the internet, you can use that phone number and the passcode to dial on your phone, enter the conference ID, and you will be able to join the meeting. I'm just being curious to see if I have that license here. Teams at Microsoft.com. So but while that is trying to load, let's look at what we are here for. So from here, what I wanted to show us was out of office, right? So you can come to Teams and then you click on your profile picture, and then from your present status, you can decide to you can decide to okay, out of office is not showing there for me. Let me just come to outlook.office.com. So once I set auto reply, and out of office is just going to be set for me in Teams. But I know that they changed something recently in Outlook. But let's see if we're able to quickly get that option. It used to be in settings. It used to be in settings. I think now it's under. It should be under. It's under accounts. Let's see. Yeah, auto replies. So once I turn on this auto replies, right, it is going to amount to out of office for me. So I'm just going to turn this on, still loading. So once I do this, I can decide to send message to people outside of my organization to say I am out of office between so day and so day, right? So this is just saying I am out of office. So I can type a message here and also give it to people outside of my organization, depending on what I want to type, right? By default, it's just coming with this message. But what I really want us to look at is if I save this, I hope I'll come to remember to turn it off. If I save this now, I've got auto reply. So if you send me a message, right, you will have a a reply immediately that would tell you that I am, can you see? presenting out of office. Because I'm sharing my screen saying presenting, but I'm out of office. So if I'm not presenting now, you will see that it is going to show out of office for me. So that was what I was looking for then. But let me see again if I can turn it off from here. If I can just first of all come to accounts, and then I'm going to go to automatic reply. Then I can turn it off. If I save this now, you will see that that function is going to leave me, right? So I was supposed to see out of office here, but I could do that from Outlook. It's still the same thing. Okay, so what that setting was telling us is that if somebody is calling me when I'm out of office, what should be the prompt that the person is supposed to get? But before I dive away, I was kind of trying to talk about audio conferencing, right? So let me just check a meeting here that I have. I don't know if I set up audio conferencing these other tenants, but let's check and see. I think I used to have some meetings that were scheduled for Saturdays. Let me come to week, and then yeah, this was our 2024 project. I just want to check. Okay, so unfortunately, I still do not also have that license in this other tenant. But if I do have it, you will see that phone number here and the passcode for meetings. So it's until when you go for those, when you do those activities, that you will see those records showing here that how much of time have I spent for in terms of usage, right? How much of those calls have I made? How much have I made calls? So there is like outbound call that you pay if it is toll, and then if it is toll free, it's free. Then if you are making that is a toll call, it means that your organization is paying. How much have you used to make audio conferencing call? What is the call duration in terms of that audio conferencing? And then how many of those dial out calls that you've made? So this is where you can really see that statistics. So really, what have we been able to establish today? We've come to manage users under users, and we've come to look that you can troubleshoot an ongoing call. And before I leave, I was saying that there are some instances where call qualities are measured against, right? There are some basic details that call qualities are measured against. And I was saying that, but when we get to calls, right, we'll really look at, when we get to call and policy, we'll really look at them. But I just want to see if I can quickly get a table, right? Average round trip time of Teams calls. So there is a table that I know that we are supposed to minor call meeting quality, monitor call quality. This may be it. There's a table that shows us, yes, this is the table. So if you look at Mary's call, I want to bring up Mary's call to this place now. So ideally, for good experience, the round trip time of call is supposed to be less than 200 milliseconds, right? So packet loss, we didn't capture our average round trip time, did we? Let's see. Round trip time, yeah, for our round trip time was 115. So we should have less than 200. So in terms of round trip time, she's good, right? Our call is good because we are saying less than 200. Then for jitter, round trip time, packet loss, then receivable jitter has to be less than 30. But that our call at that time was, that's why you see it measured in red. It was 278 ms. And here in this document, we are supposed to have less than 30 ms, right? And that's one of the reasons why that call was recording red. So if you were a troubleshooter, you can tell somebody that the reason why that call had an issue at some point is because the jitter was way above the recommended jitter or the tolerable jitter. So we will deal more about jitter, average round trip time, packet loss, and all of those when we get to voice. But just to summarize, um, just to summarize, coming to users, coming to manage users, you have like a lot to do. You can manage the user's current or ongoing call, right? You can see the details of a user from the dashboard, the activity the user has been engaged in, then the team the user is a member of, then the voice setting, which is tied mostly to enterprise voice, right? That is when the user is having the required license in terms of transferring calls, simultaneous ring, or transfer to external phone numbers, which are tied to licenses. Then we talked about voicemail settings, which I will give you an assignment to go check out, right? Then meetings and calls, we spend some time to look at this today. This is the ongoing call with Benga and Co. Then we'll have the applications that the user is currently making use of. If it's making use of panels, SIP devices, Surface, this is where we have them listed. Then the policies, just in case the user is having an issue with not sharing screen, not able to record, not being able to do that, you may just want to check the setting from the policy setup. While the terms of usage is just speaking more to audio conferencing. But I really strongly feel that this part should be edited to be like audio conferencing usage, in my opinion, right? So this is what we can handle for our today's engagement. And I hope that we've been able to learn. Myself, I've seen a lot of updates and changes, which I appreciate, and I would like you to also check out, especially with voicemails, right? And in accounts, I can already see that there is option to turn on voice, enable voice. This is not going to make any difference because this user does not have the required license. Whether I enable it or not, it will still be having some bit of issue. I need to give the license, and then you can assign phone numbers straight from here now, which is cool, right? And then the Teams upgrade policy, I've mentioned that the coexistence mode is now on Teams only mode by default set up by Microsoft. So I want to say thank you guys for the wonderful time that we've had again this weekend. And I hope that you're going to have a wonderful week ahead of you. So I will just be stopping the recording now. And if we have